The former president's eldest daughter and former White House aide spoke to the House Select Committee for about 8 hours, reportedly without claiming executive privilege or exercising their Fifth Amendment rights. And MSNBC's Melber said that showed how advisors like Steve Bannon and Peter Navarro might be more worried about their own criminal exposure than Ivanka Trump. Take a look at the MSNBC discussion.
Ivanka Trump was standing right next to then President Trump on January 6th. This was before he went to stage. You see that? Before he went out on that stage to speak to the crowd of supporters who then marched on the Capitol in that breach. So she was right there. This is my point. She was there, not Peter Navarro, not Steve Bannon, who no longer worked at the White House, but Ivanka Trump. There's, of course, another family member now. She could shed light on what took place in those 7+ hours on January 6th. Her voluntary testimony puts that pressure on anyone else stonewalling the committee. And that's the big point that you don't need to be a lawyer or an expert on to understand. This committee has basically secured the cooperation of the vast majority of people it has summoned, including a lot of people in and around Trump world. We spoke with one just last week, you may recall, if you watched The Beat, who was one of the rally organizers. She cooperated. Jared Kushner just recently cooperated. Ivanka Trump now cooperating. If anyone has a potentially valid claim to some White House executive privilege, it'd be people like Ivanka and Jared Trump. They were White House aides to the end. Steve Bannon wasn't. They were with Donald Trump those days in a way Steve Bannon wasn't. And what are they saying and doing? They're saying, well, let's just cooperate. They're saying they don't have any special privilege to shield them from cooperating. What's Steve Bannon doing? He's testing this for some other reasons that only he knows. He's been invited back on The Beat, by the way, if he wants to explain them. He is trying to pick a fight with the government, the legislative and executive branch, with this new attorney general, to take this all the way to trial, to risk himself going to jail. And whatever the reason is, because I'm not here to speculate, I could tell you, according to Trump's daughter, what the reason isn't. It ain't executive privilege.
The January 6th Select Committee Chairman Benny Thompson said Ivanka Trump's virtual testimony was not in broad, chatty terms, but she's answering questions. And NBC News reporter Ryan Riley explained how she might have resolved the inherent tension between her desire to portray herself as a positive influence on her father, but without implicating him in criminal wrongdoing. Take a look.
Tell me what you make of the idea that Ivanka Trump, according to Benny Thompson, who has no reason to lie to us about this, is neither invoking executive privilege nor the Fifth Amendment. Do you make anything of that?
You know, I think it fits into this broader theme that we saw throughout the Trump administration, where Ivanka Trump and Jared Kushner tried to make themselves out to be the reasonable people in the room. And they kept saying that they were trying to push Trump in the right direction. It became a trope throughout the Trump administration, where we saw this in every decision that the Trump administration made that was unpopular with the broader masses, or may have been unpopular in their circles. There was always this story that said, well, you know, Ivanka was trying to push him in the right direction behind the scenes. So this sort of seems like an ongoing theme here. And because January 6th is now this monumental event that is shaping the entire Trump presidency, I think it's clear here that she recognizes that she has to make clear that, you know, she was the reasonable voice in the room, and she has to get that narrative out there, or else it's going to bring her entire brand down along with her father's.
Another conflict she faces is the likelihood that Ivanka Trump did not believe her father had the 2020 election stolen from him, as he claimed. Riley said it's difficult to imagine that Ivanka Trump actually believes the things about the stolen election that her father believes. Just generationally, she's younger, she's more internet savvy, she's college educated, she's probably a lot less conservative than her father. So to imagine that we're in a situation where she actually believes these lies that the president was spreading, which is what makes her testimony so important, because a critical thing here is whether or not Donald Trump actually believes the lies that he was telling about the stolen election. That's going to be a critical component to the broader investigation and criminal culpability ultimately. If he actually believed the lies about the stolen election, that's a lot different than just saying these things to try to make a splash and change the direction of the election, essentially steal the election. If he knew they were lies, that's one thing. If you actually believe the lies, that's another. That could determine the trajectory of the criminal side of this investigation, Riley added. Thank you for watching. Please be sure to visit us at rawstory.com. And if you'd like to see more of the Raw Report, please like and subscribe and join others who like their news raw too.